Hi, everybody. This is Joanna. Thank you so much for tuning in. How is everybody today? Thank you, Sacred Tribe, for joining us. Today, we wanted to put my little Ursa over there. She needs to be held. Thank you. Thank you, all the teams and the sacred beings that are with us tonight. We wanted to do a few episodes on the divine feminine bringing beauty back. And when we say divine feminine, and we've said this so many times before, but there's so many people that are new to awakening and really beginning to explore who they are in the balancing and the honoring of the divine male within us and the divine female within us. The Vesica Pisces that is within everything to do with ascension and awakening and becoming the light body. As we become the light body, we then become the embodiment light body, which is the sacred child frequency. The sacred child, which is curious, adventurous, joyful, happy, that blissful feeling that we felt as kids, not being hindered by anything and just playing. That is what we are remembering as adults. And so the divine Vesica Pisces is through our vibrational healing from 3 to 5D, all the lifetimes that we've held, healing those experiences of who we were told we were as divine feminine, what our roles were, the obligations, the outdated patterns that we've taken on from our lineage. Our lineage and our Akash comes from many hundreds and hundreds and even thousands of years of the roles and definitions projected and imprinted within our society, and we're now calling it, which is the first time that we've called it on our channel and on our show, and we're very honored through the beings that channel those energies through me. And so we thank you for that, these new vibrations of fifth dimensional energies. And one of them that we came up with yesterday through that offering of how our world is shifting is socio-altruism. Socio-altruism is changing from what we used to know as socioeconomic and changing the entire foundation and allowing the all to be a part of the new progress of how we allow each other to be served within one another's gifts. I mean, of course, that will change 100 times over again, but assuming that we're now shifting into these new arenas, and how can we allow ourselves to honor who we are in the male and the female, that we are all a part of the sacred puzzle, and within this Vesica Pisces of being balanced and harmonious, standing in our power and reclaiming our own light, reclaiming our own unique voice, reclaiming our sovereignty as the highest light program through Metatronic and Christic light, clearing ourselves, clearing our bodies, becoming healthier and more vibrant within who we are, allowing our honoring and our knowing that in that same Vesica Pisces, the honoring and the knowing, I honor all that I am and I know who I am in this very center point, that divine relationship that we often talk about. That crucible is how you change and alter the potentiation of who you are as this physical being, the commandmentship and the honor that you have about your bodies. The physical, the mental, the emotional, and the etheric are all bodies that we wear to become all that we are. And as we clear each and every body out in various ways that we do that, and that's another episode, then we're allowing ourselves to become this beautiful, honoring Vesica Pisces through which we value our bodies. We respect it and we treat it in a different way. And we've talked on our Facebook many times. So today, before we get moving, today's episode will be about beauty, bringing beauty back through the divine feminine. And they were just showing me some images from ancient timelines that we're going to bring back into this. So somebody will remind me energetically and telepathically in our little auditorium chat room here, because we're all meeting from all over the galaxy. Thank you, all the beings that are with us. Thank you. So grateful. Pardon me. And I have all my sage dust right below me. I was doing some saging before we started. The dust is getting up my nose. And so I'm bringing the beauty back through the divine feminine. I've often talked about many things. Sacred sexuality, which will be a part of this beauty series, sacred sexuality. And reclaiming who we are as divine feminine and offering it and honoring it in a new way that is fifth dimensional in alignment with the Christic and Metatronic light. Also being in alignment of all the main ancient tribes and timelines that we've had as being very sacred women, honoring and creating that sacred foundational vibration in New Earth. What does that mean for us as divine women? We are the life givers of the planet. And my throat is already clearing because these are deep held truths of ancient wisdoms that we're here to reignite, to re-inspire and empower within everybody. Showing the children that we behave and we co-create in new ways, in sacred honor and in sacred life-giving, in sacred gentleness and sacred care for everything that is life, our planet, the insects, the ocean, the water, the trees, it's all sacred. We each hold this within us. Whether you carry a male body or a female body, it doesn't matter. But we must begin to start to create these honorings of who we are so that the children walk with these beautiful experiences of not feeling small and wanting to run away when they're asked questions, but to truly stand within their power and their love of self, their self-clarity and confidence, which can only come from the inner work that you do in renewing who you are, renewing your sense of wonderment for who you are, renewing your sense of beauty for who you are, the blessing that you're here on this planet to explore and express and experience. And in doing so, that is where that true self-confidence and self-clarity and that true self-empowerment come from. Nothing outside of you can give it to you. Every challenge that you have along your path of ascension allows you to ever go within and create, okay, what does that mean for me? How does that feel for me? It doesn't feel right anymore, and I'm no longer going to entangle with that. This is my new choice. I'm referring to my counsel, and my counsel says that person is dishonoring you and they're being disrespectful to you. So how does that make you feel? Go within and say, where does that vibration fit that was okay for you in this timeline and also other timelines? Because people treat us the way that we are treated because we haven't set clear boundaries. We've taken on other energies from other lineages and other people and the collective. And each and every one of us is now through clearing it and through saying, no, that's not okay with me anymore. You're not honoring who I am as sacred in whatever way it might be, physical, mental, emotional, or etheric, because many neglects and abuse occur at a multidimensional experience. And those of us that are crystals and empaths can feel it at a multidimensional experience. And so that I can teach it and I can offer it for those that are the crystal children that also experience at a multidimensional, and nobody's taught them to be honoring and owning of who they are in their bodies so that they can start to understand what they're going through instead of self-harming and many, many tragedies that occur because they're just not taught and told and understanding what's going on. And we're here to change it. We're here to change it and be open with who we are as beautiful and dynamic beings, because nobody deserves to walk around thinking that they are the ownership of these dark and negative thoughts and negative energies that are being projected everywhere in our society through beings that simply are on the inappropriate scale of not understanding greater good and not understanding energy and the value of all life. And that's the game that we've come to play with and to heal and transcend and allow the healing of all energies to take their place and take their course, and for each person to awaken when situations and experiences occur so that they can stop it in its tracks. Because light will always prevail. Light will. It will always prevail. Darkness in and of itself doesn't necessarily have the expansiveness that light carries, and oftentimes they don't even understand what they're doing and why they're doing it, because they're wounds. It's all suffering. And that's why we're healing all aspects of who we are, because they're all our own shadow aspects. They're all those other timelines we've held and other people are playing them out for us. And so this is our oneness in it. But to say that that doesn't serve me anymore, that's not okay. You know, how you're talking to me, how you're treating to me, it doesn't matter how we define it and how we explain it, but those are the energies that one can be okay, that's not serving me anymore. Because when you go and re-enter your devotion and your sacredness with you, creating ceremony for you in this beautiful new full moon, a powerful full moon right now, and we're going to do a little short ceremony at the end to bring your own beauty back and to ignite your power and your commandmentship over your bodies. And when you do renew yourself in every moment that you speak your truth, you're speaking the vibration of who you are, that multidimensional system of light that you are. You begin to put those emanations out into the creation, and you begin to say, now I'm attracting people that will treat me in this way now, because I've stated it, I've owned it, I've practiced it. And that's what we call the integration period. Once you awaken to know that what is and what was is no longer a match, what is and what was requires me to make a new choice and a new belief in myself. And what was and what is can be a now choice of now where I need to integrate those new choices. I choose to think highly of myself. I choose to speak highly of myself. I choose to take greater care of my body. I choose to know myself as sacred and beautiful and honoring. I choose to also emulate this to all the children and pray for the children and pray for all of earth and all life. So that's the integration period, where you take what was, you understand and acknowledge and accept it's part of your story and part of the wounds that you're healing. Choose to release it in surrender of appreciation and gratitude, to honor it all. And even though it's so challenging and so painful, and those that have oftentimes come to us in such steeped energy of abuse and suffering themselves. And sometimes when it's not outwardly seen as deserving, but just pray and surrender and forgive all. And surrender everything else that you're unable to transmute to the heavens, to the Holy Christ within you, the Christ consciousness within you, to transmute what density and what residue that you cannot see or find, but you know that it's in there. So just do those daily clearings, that you're constantly forgiving yourself and others, constantly in compassion for yourself and others, and bringing yourself into harmony with the Mother and the Father and all the creators that are on your behalf. And we have some lovely channelings from the Galactic Federation that we'll read as well. But in bringing beauty back, it's to understand that all have a purpose to show us that awakening to deepening within who we are as sovereign beings, to only align with our highest counsel within. In that way, we get to infuse our highest capacity light, our gifts creatively, our songs and tools and gifts from all of the timelines, through living through that soul, through being that harmonization of the higher self. And we get to now become this new vibrational reality where we're bringing beauty back. Because we're acknowledging it. We're saying, my intention is to be beautiful within who I am. I'm honoring my body. I'm honoring that I want people to treat me with respect and honor and appreciate me because I give so much. I treat all others with that, and I want it to be returned. And it's time. It's time now. It's time for divine feminine to bring back the beauty, because we have that within the vibrations of who we are as divine feminine, to know that all things can be made anew through the beauty and through the love and the intention of who we are as source. The field of all that is source. We have this beautiful intention to weave new fields of light, and they've shown it to me an infinite number of times. And oftentimes I've tried to explain it in so many ways. But we're fields of light. And the field of your reality begins with you, the core of who you are, your energy centers of who you are. And why each night, in bringing the beauty back, is honoring and spending time with each one of your chakras. And just placing your loving hands on your chakras, and even doing a prayer that my hands are beautiful vibrational tools of Source Creator, and I love my hands. There's so many vortices in all of your fingers. And I'm placing them with compassion and love for who I am on every chakra. I harmonize with the Mother and the Father and all creators, my soul and all that is love. And do 2 or 3 breaths on each chakra. I'm harmonizing with the Mother and the Father and all creators and all that is love, my soul and my guides and all that is love. And then down at your sacral, I'm harmonizing with the Mother and the Father and all that is love, my guides, my ancestors, all that is love. I'm harmonizing. I accept myself. I am beautiful. I'm creative. I'm pure, and I'm beautiful. And I'm clearing out the sexual centers of any energies and any imprints that have not been divine and sacred and matching my beautiful vibration. I clear this now. And place your hands face down into the sexual centers, and just have them resting over your chakras, your lower chakras, and just place an intention with breath and aligning with the planet. I'm in-breathing Shakti and Shiva energies, and I choose with the highest frequencies of the healing angels that are with me right now. And I'm allowing myself to know that my sexual centers and my root chakra and my lower chakras are being bathed and cleansed, so that it's only the highest purity of love and honor and gratitude for who I am as divine feminine. And I pray to the holy creators that the Christ energy bathe and cleanse the root chakra, bathe and cleanse. I am safe, I am grounded, I am pure, and I'm sacred. I'm calling in the Christ energy, and it's now waving through the crown chakra. All of my chakras are now opening and spiraling. Calling in the Christ consciousness to bathe my sacral, which is now open and being bathed, and all of my sexual centers to be bathed through my intention now to be bathed of any energies and imprints and projections that are not divine and sacred, matching my beauty, matching my majesty, matching my magnificence. Be gone now. All energies not divine and sacred be bathed from my sexual centers and my chakras now. Any imprints, any projections, anything from any other timelines that I've carried over, any energies from the birthing process that were held in negativity from the mother, please bathe and cleanse my chakras now. Any imprints that I've held, any understandings about sacred sex and sacred sexual energies, please be released now. Because I get to choose what it means for me. I'm not taking on anyone else's beliefs. I'm releasing any energies that were within any relationship that I've ever held, this timeline, and any other timelines, about an imbalance of what sacred sex was, my sexual energy, what that was. Because right now, in this clearing, in my choosing, in my absolution of who I am with the Holy Creator, now I get to choose what that means for me. I am sacred. I am sacred. I am beautiful and I am sacred, and I release every and all energies and beliefs and projections that are not mine. Release them now. They don't suit me anymore because I get to choose. I get to choose the magnetics of what comes to me, and it's from my energy centers of within. All chakras working in alignment for me. I get to choose the beauty of who I am, and no projections and no energies can touch and enter my field that is not in this magnificent alignment. It just can't. It won't, because I get to choose. My sexual centers are very sacred. My sexual energy matters to me, and it's very sacred. I get to choose that, and you can feel the vibration of your body just being in that higher vibrational resonance. That's your divine feminine power. Nobody can tell you what that very beautiful sacred sexual energy is for you. It's about your journey with Source Creator, that when you honor yourself as sacred, that sacred sexual energy is to be used for the creative process. A very sexual, beautiful, sacred communion of the equal interpretation of what that means for both parties. And that's why it's very important that most masters go through a period of celibacy, those that are on the path of enlightenment and self-actualization, because many eons of time, the sexual centers have been used for many misappropriations of energy and very damaging co-creations by the misuse of sexual energy out of balance. When the sexual energies are out of balance, whether it's male or female, that's when the experiences in our culture have been demeaned, and why it's created energies of entertainment experiences in our our social experience, where we're creating things that demean the bodies of one another, and those are imbalances of the sacred sexual energy, because it's not done in honor and in sacredness of who we are as beings of light. That sexual life force is Source Creator, the Mother and the Father living through us, for the benevolence and the joy and the pleasure of being the beautiful essence of who we are as sacred. Sacred energy living through our bodies and our vessels as sacred life-giving energy. And why it's to be done in a way that, when you go through celibacy, you understand your body in a very purified and cleared way. Because when you're clearing out your body in devotion of who you are and clearing it out daily, and only aligning with your energies and your entanglement field, your epicenter and your field, you get to understand how much energies you were taking on that were not in balance with your integrity, your value system, your morals of who you are, your truth, your inner truth. Because when you're entangling in a way, even if it's not sexual, if you will, if we're just saying energetically, there's entanglement. And if others are not working in the same honoring energy and way that you are, then you can absolutely feel that, and you're taking on that energy, and especially if you're working in a sexual experience. And it's okay, there's no judgment on either any, but when you're moving through a process of self-actualization and you're actualizing yourself as sacred, as a higher light being, there will be points in your process through which you want to get to know who you are in your own unique vibrational energy field, who you are. And it often has little to do with anything that is through what we know to be sexual interaction and intercourse. It's vibrational and it's energetic. And it begins with, who are you first at the energy level? Are you sacred? Are you knowing and being of yourself as a spirit of sacredness? Not to say that, and everybody is different, everybody has their own unique free will and choice to know who they want to partner with when and if they choose to do that. This is just my own personal experience on bringing beauty back to the divine feminine, what we see and how we see of ourselves, so that our children grow up with higher expectations and higher standards of who they are, and not to resort to experiences in our socio experience that demean and debauch experiences of our sacredness. We still have to learn from them, and it's a part of our experience to heal, but are we ready now? Are we ready to know that we're sacred essence creating matter? And what kind of matter do you want to create? Imbalance where it's am completely out of balance life force energy. Imbalance of life force energy has been rooted within control and misappropriated and misused in control. Because that life force energy, it's not being used in a way that is of a positive experience. When the life force energies and light begins to move through your body, your cells accelerate, everything accelerates. And if it's not being balanced and used in a spiritual, honoring, respectful way, then it becomes imbalanced and distorted sexual spirit, which means that it's out for control or the energy of having sex to have sex, if you will, which then that energy goes into whoever that occurrence connects with. Therefore, those energies of that person feels, well, I just feel like I was used. And those energies become those experiences of intertwinement. And it doesn't have to be, because nobody feels good walking away from those experiences. You feel as if your bodies have been disregarded and used. So understanding the sacred sexual life force, what that means. And to know that, it often requires that you go into a state of celibacy so that you understand who you are as an energy being, how you want your body to be treated in every way, multidimensionally, mentally, physically, emotionally. Are you being emotionally honored in the beauty that you are as an emotional, beautiful being? Are you expressing yourself with that beautiful life force emotionally? Because that's a part of that intimate, beautiful, sacred sex, that intimacy, because that can be a very special experience and it has nothing to do with intercourse or sexual experience. It's a life force experience of communion, of sacred communion. It has very little to do with the act because again, it's been taken out way out of context and way out of balance. And it's been used in the grand experience within our collective is yet to awaken to the beauty and the elegance and the grace of who we are as life force. And it's being used inappropriately, which is fine. There's no judgment either way. We have to learn. The only way to do that is through, again, returning to who you are as love. Who are you as beauty? Who are you as sacred? And you get to then choose and sort out, how do I want to feel? Do I want to take my experiences of intimacy with my partners into a whole new level of sacredness? And how can I get to know my sacred life force energy with Source Creator? And it's meant to be used as a sacred tool of co-creation, a sacred tool of union and communion of life, evolution. It's a very sacred experience. And to get to know you first, to honor you and say, well, this is what we always do when we're reflecting and we're creating new perspectives, new awakenings for ourselves, the initial stage of awakening at the multidimensional level. How can I awaken mentally? How can I awaken physically? How can I awaken in my idea of who I am as sexual and physical in the spiritual and etheric manner? Because I'm heightening my experiences to be more spiritual. I want to be more essence of light. Well, to do that, I want to raise my vibration of who I am as light and how I feel about myself. Am I feeling light and beautiful and sacred and honoring? Do I walk with that sacred sway because I know that I'm a vessel of light? I want to start owning it. So then I start, doing a little sacred map. How do I want to feel and look? And always go to the vibration. I want to feel like, wow, that those connections that I'm having, they're really honoring me as that vessel of light. They're honoring me for my ideas and my emotional sharing. And you feel into those vibrations, and that's what you start creating. You're sending out those pulsations of sacredness. And having the children too, yeah, I'm sacred. I know I'm sacred. And when that's being done to my body and that's being done to my body, that's not okay. And I get to say no. And I will keep saying no. And I will keep telling people until I'm heard and listened. And that's when those travesties start to decrease, because we're teaching the children right from day one, you are sacred and you walk with God. You are not to be touched inappropriately. You are not to be talked down to and demeaned. And if you are, you have the right and the voice to say so. And you keep saying no, and you keep saying so until someone listens. Because that's not okay. You're a sacred being and you're a sovereign being, and you deserve to be treated with love and respect. And so that's the return of center and owning your self-confidence, owning your self-empowerment with you and Source. You and Source. Source would never, ever want you to be demeaned and to be projected and debased for an item or an object or a conquest or, whatever it might be. And that's okay. It's okay that those are the vibrations in the collective. But I've experienced many aspects of them on many different levels. And nobody ever feels good in them in any way. Just don't, because you're sacred. You feel it's just not right. That's the alignment of who you are with spirit. So when you have those moments, celebrate, because that's your spirit saying, I'm in connection with my spirit. And my spirit says, that's not okay. It doesn't feel good. It's no different than going out and getting drunk and dishonoring your body and your organs. The next day you feel like crap. Well, your body feels like crap because you put it through hell. But your spirit is feeling crap to say, you didn't have to do that. I'm right here. I can love you all you want. Connect with me, connect with me. So when you have those moments of feeling like that, celebrate it and say, okay, my spirit wants me to come into more of alignment. And I can do this because I am beautiful. Whether you're male or female, you're beautiful. We don't need to debase who we are as vessels of light. We're beautiful, we're sacred. Our eyes are sacred, our skin is sacred, our bodies are sacred. So to bring beauty back. So spend some time each chakra. My intention is just to be with my chakras and Mother Father. I'm with my chakras and Mother Father, thank you. And you'll just start feeling outpouring of love. I'm already feeling it right now. This is upwelling of love, upwelling of love. Thank you. Just be at peace with your galactic sensing, your galactic ears, and the axional lines. As you're touching, you say, I love you, I love you. I respect you, I honor you, I love you. I'm with you, Mother Father. I'm aligned with you, Mother Father. I love you. My words are sacred. My words are sacred. I love you. I love you. I love you. And as you're doing this, have an intention that all cells are at attention. My cells and my organs and my body. I love you. I love you. I hear the words of love. I hear the words of love. I'm sacred. I'm listening to spirit. I'm aligned with spirit. I hear the words of spirit. I'm so sacred. I'm so sacred. Thank you. I love you, spirit. I love you, spirit. I love you, spirit. The pineal, as all the densities and all the calcium are being cleansed and cleared through my intentions now. I'm so sacred. I'm so sacred. I love you. So sacred. I love you. I'm so sacred. I love you. I'm so sacred. I love you. And my teens are helping bathe and cleanse and clear. I'm so sacred. I'm so sacred. Thank you. I'm so sacred. I'm so sacred. And my skin is so sacred. I love my skin. I love my skin. I love my elbows, the chakras on my elbows. I'm so sacred. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit. I love you. I'm so sacred. Thank you, Spirit. You go up once and you come down once. As many times as you want. You'll feel more self-love and more sacred every time you do it. Bringing beauty back to who you are as a multidimensional being of light. And they were showing me, just using my comb and just combing my hair, and they were showing me the beautiful nighttime rituals that we used to do in the sacred mystery schools. I used to do this with my daughter. And just brushing the hair, and there would be these beautiful priestesses that were in the temples, and they spent a lot of time in the mystery schools. And this is part of a nighttime beauty routine. And we say beauty routine not in what it's been meant to in the third dimension. And there's nothing wrong with any of it. But we're bringing the higher vibration of self-love and self-honor and self-sacredness to beauty. And all that is beautiful because you are. And the beauty routines that occurred back in the mystery schools was that very thing. It's just, they would have 2 or 3 girls per high priestess. And these girls would just help the priestess honor her beauty and honor her light within her by honoring the sacred co-creation that she was, how her hair was co-created, and how her body, it was in alignment, and her bones. And I love you. I'm very sacred. Thank you. I'm very sacred. And spirit is living with me in everything, and spirit allows me to honor my body and be in love with who I am. Thank you, Spirit. And I'm honoring my allness and who I am as I'm taking care of who I am. And they seem quite simple, doesn't it? I mean, there's going to be people watching this going, you're brushing your hair. I go, no, I'm falling in love with who I am, and I'm creating beauty in my sacredness. Because you can feel the vibrational difference. It's different. Like when I was, when my daughter was little, I used to love playing with her hair. And now she's just a far greater hairdresser than I am. She can do anything with hair. Um, and I just liked sacred. I treated her like she was an angel, and all my kids. I'm doing their hair and I'm just like putting gel in it. It's sacred. It's sacred. You're sacred. Your hair is beautiful. You're sacred. You're beautiful. You're sacred. You're here for a reason. You're sacred. God placed you here. You're sacred. And so, when you're doing your nighttime routine, pick a different night and do something fun, like maybe pick a tea for each evening, and then um, um, a mist. This is lavender. I love lavender, and I tend to use lavender at the end of the day. And when you just get out of the bath, a salt bath, and you're nice and bathed and cleansed, and then spritz, um, and then do your chakra intention, and then just comb your hair. And just take care of your hair. I'm taking care of me now. This is my time to take care of me with intention and gentleness. Because I guarantee you, those of you that are watching have rarely had anyone treat you this way. I know as a woman, I've often told my kids that I would, when I'm wealthy enough, I will pay someone to give me goosebumples. I love goosebumples, and just gently on your skin, just goosebumples. Because it's an honoring experience. And my granny used to do it when I was little, and it was the only affection that I really got. That beautiful gentleness of caring for yourself and honoring yourself. Human touch is really important. And we all know the studies that have been done for the beautiful babies and the care of animals, the human touch. And we're doing this now for ourselves, sacredness, and a half an hour just to spend, just combing your hair and saying, I'm sacred and my hair is really beautiful. And it's done not in the way that those that would be watching the first inclination, and I know this because they're showing me, when people are watching, they're just saying, this is ridiculous how, arrogant or conceited. No, it's sacred. In the sacred temples and in living in your highest light, they don't have jobs where they're, trying to win over someone, or they're trying to get more of a raise, and they're trying to beat someone out of a competition. No, they spend their days honoring their bodies. They spend their days understanding their bodies. Because if they don't understand their bodies, they're not co-creating in light. It's imbalance. And however you choose to do it that feels good for you. And just spend time honoring my body. I honor my body. And because, as I said earlier, there's the majority of you watching have rarely been treated. I don't know your individual life stories, but most of us, because we've all come from dysfunction, how many of you had those experiences where your bodies were treated sacredly by those of your caretakers, by those that you looked up to as mentors, that taught you about what does sacredness mean for your body and how beautiful it is, and how beautiful you are within the physical understanding of you as spirit. Because as the intention and as your sacredness vibration for you, you begin creating that sacred, beautiful body. And just by taking 10 or 15 minutes, just to align with sacredness, you're in a peaceful state, you're centered, you're aligned. And now visualize your DNA and visualize sacred geometry. And this is for, women that are excited. We're all moving through different phases of our life. And women that are excited to co-create and understand that they're the masters of their body, that we absolutely have all control of our body and how we look and how we feel. And those of us that want and desire the beautiful energies of our bodies and how we want to feel about our bodies. And one of mine was beautiful divine goddess hair, and beautiful and thick and lustrous goddess hair, and beautiful radiant skin. And doesn't matter what age category you're moving through, Spirit is telling me that they want me to make sure that I mention that because we have such a dysfunctional and often warped idea of beauty and the divine feminine, how divine feminine has been projected through eons, hundreds of years, thousands of years. They're saying thousands of years, sorry, Spirit, that when we choose to feel beautiful in our bodies and sacred in our bodies, it's really important that I'm saying this. They're impressing upon me right now how important it is that I'm saying this in the way that I'm saying this, because they understand that I can do it in a way that is of the utmost sacredness. Because so many of you know and understand our offerings. When a divine woman wants to feel sacred and beautiful in her body for no other reason but for herself, not for the impression of any other person to have it be seen or noticed or acknowledged or responded to, but for yourself to feel beautiful and loving and sacred and beautiful and gracious, and however it is for us that is intriguing for us. I want to feel my skin very beautiful and soft, whatever it is that your intention of your beauty is. That spirit wants that for us as well. And it's not seen as outside of spirituality, and not at all. As we said earlier, those that experience those higher vibrational worlds, they're gorgeous. Pleiadians, Sirians, they're gorgeous because they're in complete alignment of illumination of the spirit. Everything God creates is beautiful. It's how our belief package and our perspectives and the limitations that we have been bombarded with that take us out of that and place divine feminine in arenas of subjugation, of demeaning, debauchery, of experiences that are, nefarious and just debase who we are as physical beings because of our structure for arbitrary reasons that are so outdated and so not sacred, but that's okay. We need that contrast. So what we're saying now is allow yourself to be however it is you choose to design it, and to know that it's all a part of the human experience. It's all a part of our oneness, collective oneness. It's all a part of us because we've all had lifetimes in all of those experiences. But what we get to choose that's so important is each and every one of us get to choose who we are as sacred and what it means to each and every one of us. And to be beautiful within yourself, because you're defining and rewriting the story for who you are as sacred in every way. And it's okay, and Spirit wants that for us. That if it's important for us to be beautiful and be radiant in our skin, that's okay. But to have balance with it and not have it to be the only thing that you think is beautiful, and that's okay too, because you'll move back into balance. That's the swing of what we're going through right now. We're going through so much increased acceleration in energies and releasing of densities that we're swinging on the pendulum quite dramatically. So be okay with that too. If you're here one day, way out here, and then the next day, way out there, just remember that through breath and through just slowing down and being still, you can come into that easy balance. And then again, getting a nightly self-care regime for yourself that's beautifying and sacred and soft and luxurious and gentle for you. And honoring where you were not felt as sacred as a child. That's a part of the healing process as well, is that as you're taking sacred care of yourself, just saying, I'm so happy that, I had the childhood that I am, and I'm appreciating the childhood that I am because I'm able to explore sacredness in a really beautiful way now. Bring in the silver lining for those of us that didn't have those experiences of sacred, emotional and mental and physical, honoring and treasuring experiences of our bodies. You can start it now. If there was grand abuse or if there was grand misappropriate interactions, we've all experienced them, but you can bring it back now and say, now I'm going to create 10 minutes a night where I'm honoring who I am. Creating radiant skin. My cells are listening. My intention is, I'm beautiful and I'm sacred and I'm radiant. My skin is radiant because I get to choose how my skin looks. I'm sacred, I'm sacred, I'm sacred. Beautiful gums and teeth, perfect gums and perfect teeth. Radiant skin, perfect eyes, perfect eyesight, perfect eyes. I see as God does. I see as God does. I'm perfect and radiant. I'm shining and I'm radiant. I'm sacred. And beautiful, luscious goddess hair. Beautiful, luscious goddess hair. Because I'm loved and I'm sacred. I'm loved and I'm sacred. Thank you. Thank you, I'm sacred. So thank you for joining us for the beautiful self-love, sacred experience of bringing beauty back. And allow yourself to, again, bring in these special little tools that you can use, like special teas, fragrant teas that allow you to absorb the essences in new ways, because it absolutely does affect your cellular and biochemical experiences in your body. And through the essences, different essences for different things. So look them up online and find a good organic place that you can rely on, because some sell it online that are not real. I bought a couple of those. They were not good purchases. So now I have a good, I have a good location where I get them now, and I get those essences and bring in Beautiful little tips and tools that you can use with the children as well. Just take 5 or 10 minutes just to care for your body at night. Have a bath. Put candles up for them. Put the little essence oils so they can put in whatever essence oils they like, and get them to experience how they're feeling, and then have them talk about it afterwards. Did you feel a difference when you used peppermint tonight? The different essence oils. And just check the children's skin after, because some kids are allergic to some types of essences, and only use 1 or 2 drops. And make sure you look at them online, because there are 1 or 2 that you cannot use in the baths. And so just be mindful. Most often than not, people know which ones they can use because they're really excited to use them and they just go for it. I've always done it intuitively. And just spend that sacred time for you and what that means for you. What does beauty mean for you? What does beauty mean for, and always bring back, they're wanting me to bring back this experience of oneness, because I've had all experiences in between. I'm only bringing it forward in the words that we have and how I have felt within those experiences. It hasn't felt very good at all. My bodies have felt used and abused and demeaned, and they didn't feel good, and they didn't feel as if it was a match to my spiritual energy and my life force energy. But it takes that you get to know yourself before you align that, right? The more time you get to know yourself and recenter within who you are as spirit, your guides and your higher self and your soul will say, that didn't match you, that conversation didn't match you. So you're going to align your voice next time more clearly with those experiences, so that you actually absolutely speak as a spirited essence. And your spirit will show you. There's no judgment on any of it, because we're all learning in the soup of God. We're all coming from incredibly dense timelines. We're all coming from incredibly dense Akashic and lineage, roles and experiences where we were held in houses of service. We're all carrying those timelines with us that we have to heal and say, those experiences. And that's why you get triggered in those experiences, by the way, when we've had, as women, coming here to heal. This is from my own personal experience, and I'm speaking as Divine Feminine, to re-honor and bring beauty back for the Divine Feminine, the wisdoms and the intelligence and the intellect back, cosmic universal wisdoms and lineage and leadership back, for the Divine Feminine, and the power that we have as Divine Feminine. So I'm speaking from my unique perspective on what I can sense and feel from the gifts that I have. In those experiences and other timelines, when you have those experiences, even if you're younger and you're having those experiences where you're a spirit and your bodily actions are not in alignment, and the only way we know is to go through those experiences. And so it's just have it be okay. But when you're aware of it, know that that's a profound experience. When you say, wow, that didn't feel good, how can I realign? That knows your master. So just be celebratory of that. When you have those experiences and you get those really profound big triggers, it's because you have had other lifetimes as those energies where you were enslaved, and you were used, your bodies were used as slaves. And this is why it's really important that we heal that for the children and all of the energies that our planet is healing for child sex enslavement and other types of slavery through the wrong use of free will. We talk about the right use of free will and the wrong use of free will. Spirit says it's all free will, and you're learning as you're going. But those that are consciously awake and aware will choose more often than not to use the right use of free will, because they understand it's all karma and it comes back really quickly. And nobody wants to bring that upon themselves. So just understand that we're all learning in this beautiful soup of free will. And some are operating without that conscious awareness. Obviously, it's understanding slavery. It's a human, basic perspective. To take someone's rights and free wills away is not okay. It's the number one law in our universe. And it stems from other planets and other timelines of slavery and control. So that's what we're healing now. And it's important that we as Divine Feminine, as the life givers, as the leaders of gentleness and care and altruism, we start sending out these vibrations of love and care and oneness, so that these vibrations of self-care and self-love and beauty begin to resonate within the bodies and the cells of who we are. And you're radiating that confidence and self-awareness that, no, my body is sacred. I choose for it to be treated in this way and this way. And I'm going to have conversations about this with the people I can entangle with, and I choose to entangle with. And that I'm calling in the heavens to align those people with me, because they know my vibrational level. They know what I'm here to learn and co-create with, and I'm absolutely surrendering to the heavens to know that that person will come to me. They're aligning it for me. I don't have to do anything that's outside of the experience for me to control any experience like that. I want it to be heavenly directed because I'm worthy of it. I'm worthy of that heavenly directed soulmate. And those will be those experiences where we get to co-create together in that same vibrational experience of what does sacred mean to you? What does sacred mean to you? And you get to explore that together. Even if you're together with someone, you can still explore and choose, if you choose as a partnership, have conversations. What does sacred mean to you? How can we bring our vibration as a unit into higher intimacy and higher intellect of the life force energy and what it offers both of us through your health and your wellness and your usefulness? How you're co-creating in sacredness with one another's body. It's very sacred. And it's each and every one of us get to choose that. That's what's so beautiful. But we're more awake and aware now. And we get to choose those vibrations, so we set it forward to the collective. Our collective requires those higher vibrational experiences of, yes, we had these in our mystery schools. We had these in our most beautiful temples and our most highest vibrational timeline and planets. So we care for our bodies. Our bodies are the vessels through which we manifest. It matters. Spirit matters. So beautiful. Yay. And so thank you. We wanted to just pull one quick oracle card before you go to bed this evening. And these are the beautiful, I will be making my own oracle deck, by the way. So anybody wants to help me with that. Rebecca Campbell, All Lightworkers Oracle. So anybody that would like to help us co-create and be leaders of the fifth dimensional energies and socio-altruism on our planet, our links are down below. And anyone that would like to donate to assist us in continuing what we do, that would be so lovely. And we honor you and we appreciate you so very much. And we love you. You're honored. You're beautiful and you're sacred. And just know that if nobody's told you, then take 5 minutes and just look at yourself in the mirror. And just spend 5 minutes just gazing lovingly, because that's the mother and the father gazing at you and saying you are a blessing, you're a gift, you're meant to be here. You're a beautiful person on this planet and we need you. And to speak up for how you want your body to be treated. And you get to choose. You get to choose. And be okay. This is my body, and yes, I get to say every aspect of how it's treated. And no, I'm not going to feel bad about it. And no, I'm not going to apologize for it. If you're not okay with it, then that's okay too. Then you need to move on. Because I'm sacred. And you get to choose. And goodness gracious, the children need to know they're sacred. We don't want them walking around as if they're less than and controlled by others, and their voices are not important, and their bodies can be treated any way that any other person seems fit. No, that's not okay. No, we honor the rights of all bodies. We honor the rights of how all bodies are treated. And if two adults and that are grown and have their full awareness and capacity to make those decisions that is right for their bodies, and they're both choosing out of full awareness and consciousness, that's different. But to children of slavery and sex slavery, we're here to change that. We're here to change it. We're here to change it. Because there's healing and suffering on all ends of it. Those that are the perpetrators and those that are the ones that are victims. There's suffering on all sides. There just is. There is, because you are a sacred vessel. And if it's not treated in a sacred way, in a sacred manner, that's why there's so many wounds that we've had for eons on our planet. Because of the misunderstanding, misappropriation, and mistreatment of who we are as beings of light and spirit that have been misused and abused. And it causes trauma at a deep cellular level, on a multidimensional level, physical, mental, emotionally, etheric. And why we've got to allow ourselves in our socio-altruistic experience when moving into 5D, how can we infuse light into psychiatry and psychology and into medicine? Because everything is being taken into that multidimensional perspective, and it needs to. How the cells can be healed through myriad of multidimensional modalities. It's really exciting. But it first begins with us knowing that we're beautiful and we are sacred. And the sacred sexual life force is very important. And it shouldn't be, we're requiring to change it. not to be misused and abused, so that our entire collective is out of balance, and having the imbalance of the sexual life force that just creates even greater imbalance of the bodies and the mind and the spirit and the soul. And it suppresses the spirit in every way. And it's time for us to begin, right? Sacredness now. Sacredness begins now. And each of us get to choose. Each of us get to awake every day and say, I will emulate and I will radiate sacred energy because I'm sacred. And when I speak, I will speak in a sacred way because it makes me feel good. I'm sacred. I'm reaffirming my intention to be sacred by speaking it, by behaving in it, and by being it. And I want to treat others as sacred because they are. I radiate sacredness to them because I want them to know that their bodies are sacred and they get to choose how their bodies want to be treated. And the children, it's up to us to assist them and be protected in that until they're confident in speaking their truth about their oneness and who they are, a sacred spirit and sacred essence. But to know that absolutely they have their voice and they are the strength of their voice and they will be protected. And it's time for us to change that. Transformation, change. God is a transformation. And what they were showing me in that image before we came on was the many of the beautiful sacred mystery schools and the women, the 2 or 3 people that would be standing around the high priestess and just treating her. She would be sitting in a chair like this. And she would just be there in her musing, and she would be in meditations. And there would be the priestesses that would just comb her hair. And then there would be them would put oils on. And then one would be rubbing her feet. Because she was a vessel that was very sacred, and she would be creating healings for the collective. And she would be bringing sacred wisdoms down that would be written on papyrus the next day. And she was a very sacred essence and a very sacred energy. And these wisdoms and these teachings were lost throughout time because the energies of the divine feminine were seen as not valid and purposeful. And I'm bringing them back. It's time. It's time. And take turns with your partner and your sacred partner to treat each other's body in sacredness, whether that's, brushing each other's hair. It might sound corny, but to be sacred with one another and honor the body in the ways that you and one another want it, in a sacred way that's very sacred. And oftentimes people ask me, well, what is sacred? Well, if you initially say something about sacred, you say, well, what do I want? If you're with your partner, you say, what does my body want to feel sacred? Usually, initially, if you say something really quick, it's usually the ego that answers that. Sacredness is something you feel into. And it's that stillness and that's present with source. What does sacred mean for my body with my partner? How would I like to be treated and honored in my body? And how can I honor them in their body in sacredness? Because that flow of energy needs presence and stillness. It might be a beautiful memory of when you were a child and your granny was sitting with you having a tea and she was just goosebumping your arm. Say, yes, I would like that. Can you goosebump on my arm? And as you do, I'm going to think about how beautiful and lovely you are because I want to honor you for wanting to honor me and be sacred with me. And it's really intimate and vulnerable that we get to do this with one another for 10 minutes a day. And we're taking our relationship to new levels and honoring ourselves in new levels. And it will feel awkward and weird at first, but you'll get to that sacred level where you'll take your relationship and your whole new reality shifts. You'll wake up in a different room because you've changed your reality through your intention and wanting that sacred connection with life force, that love. It's pure love. To want your bodies to be honored in sacredness, to be held sacredly, to be treasured sacredly, to be handled sacredly. It's a vibration that needs to be felt. And so allow yourself to be open and just practice and play in the vibration of sacredness and intimacy and vulnerability. And emulate that with strength and power and alignment with who you are, physical, mentally, emotionally, etheric, so that you radiate this to the children. You radiate this, yes, I am sacred and I get to say what happens with my body. And so do you. And you get to say what feels comfortable and what doesn't feel comfortable. And you get to go within and connect with source and say, how do I want to move forward? What kind of jobs are attracting me? What kind of people do I want to connect with and attract with? And then when it comes to love and relationships, who do I want to know that values me and honors me? And we've all been at school with, when we've all had children and how many of them come home at infinite, it's like every other day, oh, this person hit me and did this to me and threw me to the ground. I mean, that's not sacred honoring. When we're treating each other in that way, When you look around at the world and how we treat one another, physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, the things that are done to one another, is that sacred? We got to start somewhere. Who are we? Why are we here? And what exists within us to bring back a new experience of Earth, fifth dimensional bodies where your cells are listening. That when you say you're sacred, your cells are going to start creating sacred skin. I'm sacred. I'm beautiful and I'm sacred because I am the driver. I am the Christ consciousness, and everything within my alchemic frequencies right now, I get to choose. My body is listening. My cells are listening. I'm in control. I'm sovereign with God. I'm sovereign with Source. I get to choose. Nothing will connect with me that is not magnificent because I get to choose. I tell my bodies and my cells and my fields every night, I get to choose. Only magnificence, only love, only magnificence, only love, only magnificence, only love. My bodies and my fields will no longer be manipulated. They won't. They won't. My love and my light are my fields, my epicenter, and I have that right. It's my right to live a happy, unapologetic, joyful life. I have that right. And I hope, all that I can hope is that I inspire others to know the power of who they are as the Holy Christ within. The Holy Christ and Mother Father want you to take time off to honor and be in luxury of who you are as a blessing on this earth. You're meant to be. I remember this one story, they're showing me Jesus with his disciples, and they were in a field and they were just enjoying just the surroundings of the field, and they were looking at the flowers, and they were just being in peace, just in awe of Source and their quiet time, their presence together. And Jesus was just looking at them and just being at peace with them and just appreciating the beauty of their togetherness, just in silence. And then he's showing me, he's just looking around and he's looking at the little flowers and the little movement of the grass that is Source. And he sees and he's connecting this. Thank you, Holy Master. Thank you, Holy Master. Thank you, Holy Master. In great honor of you, Holy Master. Thank you, Holy Master. He's saying, okay, Joanna, that's enough. I'm always in such awe with him. And we're sitting on the grass together right now, and he's showing me that there is a song that's occurring if we just stop and be still about the sacredness that is beautiful. So this is where he wants to show me the juxtaposition and the beautiful elegance that is within all things that is Source. And we don't often, because we're still so busy in the egoic patterning, the mantra of being busy all the time. How can we be in the beauty and the mantra of just appreciating the stillness that is sacred? Sacred is still. Stillness is sacred. When you're sitting there with a partner, one that you truly love and you want to experience sacred with them, and you're just being open and your hearts are open and your chakra energies are flowing with one another, just in your own presence with one another. And you're just allowing one another to feel one another's sacredness. There's a stillness that must occur. And there's a song that begins and you can feel it and sense it in every way. And he's showing me this occurrence through when he was sitting on the grass with the disciples, and they were all just sitting in great peace and silence, just looking and just being reflective. And he was just in appreciation. You know, I appreciate you. I appreciate your beauty of who you are as Source. And I'm watching you with Source. A beautiful, sacred picture. Thank you. And I send you all light and energies in this beautiful, sacred experience because it's happening right now on another timeline. Thank you. And I'm appreciating this experience with you. Thank you, Holy Masters and the disciples. Thank you, Holy Masters and disciples. And thread the weaving of love and appreciation in this experience. Thank you. I'm creating the highest vibration of love and appreciation for our oneness. Thank you, Holy Masters. Thank you, God. And just the appreciation of all that is life. And you just get to that wow. Just beautiful, simple, sacred stories like that just rock your world. And you're different than you were a moment ago. That's sacred. That's God. That's Source. That's Spirit. That's the creator of all that is. Every cell. So incredible. I hope you've enjoyed this experience. Thank you. And be excited about your transformation. You're a sacred being of light. And we love you so much. You're so sacred, and we love you. We hope you've enjoyed this evening's um, offering on beauty, bringing beauty back through the divine feminine, and how you can take little tiny ways to bring beauty back and honoring yourself as sacred, honoring your body, your chakras, your alignment with Mother, Father, and aligning with your truth within, so that every day you walk forward in greater oneness and appreciation for who you are as light. And beauty is very sacred. Very sacred. Oh my gosh. Mother, Father say you are all beautiful to us. But we want you to know it now. We want you to be in joy of it now. We want you to embellish and be beautiful in who you are. Again, they're saying to me, it's not for the reason to get any outside, you know, the need to have anybody say anything about you. It's purely for the love of you. I want to know what it's like to feel sacred love for me. I love myself. I love my beautiful hair and my skin. And I'm learning to appreciate myself, because I certainly didn't have that in any relationship I've ever been in. But I get it to be it for me now. And that's what's so important. And we bring that back to humanity. We bring this back to the children, bring this back to Gaia. Because when we appreciate ourselves, we walk gently on Gaia. And we appreciate her and we value her for the water she provides, for the nourishment and for the natural essence oils and all that she gives us to be beautiful. And walk as beauty, portray ourselves as beauty. It's beautiful, it's elegant and sacred, and we love you. So anybody that wants to donate, please donate down below. We would love your offerings of sacredness and your blessings in any way that you so choose. And we love you very much. Those that would like to book any private sessions, Akashic healings, light language and sound healing, alignments to the fifth dimensional grids for any business and socioeconomic systems, from moving to a socio-altruistic, aligning with the Holy Christ in the bodies and the health and wellness of all that we are as beautiful beings of light, essence, and physical form, as we create beautiful new matter. And we thank you and we honor you as the holy beings of light that you are. And for joining us every night in your sacredness, we honor you. And we love you so deeply. Namaste. I rainbow you. Bye.